Hello, gasaholics. I'm Hot Rod Bob, and you've got gas, the great American auto scene. Now, it's coming to you at a different time, but that's okay. Remember, you can get this not only here on Facebook, but YouTube, Apple, and other podcast platforms, if you'd like. One of the things we're going to talk about today, or this evening, it depends on when you're watching this, is, well, I read a lot. I read a lot about cars. And I enjoy some of the writers that are out there. Hi, Stephen. How are you doing? Well, one of the writers I like, a young lady that writes for Car and Driver. And she is a great writer. She writes very knowledgeable, and she is knowledgeable. You read her editorials. Elena Shear. Check it out. She's good. Other things I read, like, well, I just read a story in a publication that wants me to subscribe, but I get it for free on my phone. But if I put it on my computer, I've got to pay. I haven't figured that one out. But it's PN is their initials, and they have written a story. It's called "Which State Attracts the Most Sports Cars?" Well, I would think it'd be one of the sunny states like California, Florida, Arizona, places like that. Well, I'm partially right. However, there's a problem with this article, and I want to read it to you. Well, I won't read it to you. I'll just paraphrase, and we'll talk a little bit about it. All right, so who's impressed by sports cars? I'm not impressed. I just like them, and I've owned them. Currently, one Corvette. We are down from 2, and we've had we've had 4 over the years. But sports cars. Those are cars that are 2-seaters, small in size, mostly convertibles. GT car would be a coupe. Most are 4-cylinder or V6 power. There might be some that sneak in there with a V8, like the Cobra, the Corvette, the Sunbeam Tiger, the Triumph TR8, the MGB GT V8, things like that. Those are sports cars. Jaguars, sports cars. But this publication paid someone to write an article about sports cars and popularity. Well, they say 2.8% of Americans drive sports cars. Hi, Janie. How you doing? Tom Ramsey. Good evening to you. Now, according to a group called IC Cars, which analyzed over 10 million vehicle sales, they would say that, well, sports cars are somewhat popular. And like they said, 4.8 or 2.8% of Americans are driving sports cars. Now, I'm not sure how they figured that out. But according to the data, Nevada placed first with 4% of their population driving sports cars. Now, here's where it gets kind of tricky. The average for Florida and California is 3.8. And again, it's because of the good climate. We can drive almost all year round with a convertible. We get very little rain. The temperatures are relatively moderate, except in the hot times of the summer. But the worst place to have a sports car is the north, the Rocky Mountains, and some of the Midwest areas because of the winters. But it gets a little screwy from there. Now, I can give you the numbers, and let's go through the top 15. As I said, Nevada with 4%, Florida, California with 3.8%. Okay, I can understand, pleasant weather to an extent. I wouldn't want a convertible in Florida. It's just too darn humid there. Arizona, Texas, Georgia at 3.6%, Mississippi, North Carolina at 3.2%, Alabama and South Carolina at 3.1%, Oklahoma 3%, Tennessee 2.9%, Arkansas 2.9%, and Virginia 2.9%. Now, that's just the top 15. And I can go through this entire list with you if you'd like. The bottom of this list is Maine, with 0.9% of their populations have sports cars. Now, again, this article is about sports cars. Who drives a sports car? Hi, Mindy Jean. How you doing? Edgar, how are you? All right. So as far as the most popular sports cars in the U.S., here's where it gets kind of screwy to me. You know what they call a sports car? A Mustang. A Mustang? Mustangs were never sports cars. Mustangs were always pony cars. Because of the popularity of the Mustang when it was introduced in 1964, the term pony car was coined because of the type of car it is. They are not small cars. Small compared to a full-size car, but not small as in a sports car. They have back seats. Okay, you could call them 2+2 sports cars. As a matter of fact, that's what they called the original fastback Mustang, is 2+2, because you could get 4 people in it. Sports car? No. Were there sports cars with back seats? Yes. Austin Healey. Yes, the 3000 had a back seat. Now, if you had very short legs or you were a child, you could sit back there. Sports car? Yes. Mustang? No. The second sports car, they say, is a Challenger. What? The Challenger is another pony car. But these are what these guys are calling sports cars. Now, based on this determination that a Mustang and a Challenger is a sports car, you can guess their age. They're millennials. They have no clue what a real sports car is. Now, here's the list of most popular sports cars by state. And they'll do it in alphabetical order, so it's not the top 15. And here we go. Alabama, Alaska, Dodge Challenger. Arizona, Mustang. Arkansas, Dodge Challenger. California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Mustang. Georgia, Challenger. Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Mustang. Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Challenger. Missouri, Mustang. Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, New Mexico, North Carolina, Mustang. North Dakota, Dodge Challenger. Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, Wisconsin, West Virginia, Wisconsin, oh, I already said that, Ford Mustang. And the bottom of the list, Wyoming, Dodge Challenger. Again, these are not sports cars. And this person got paid to write this article. They don't know what a sports car is. PN is the name of the publication. I guess that's Power Nation. Well, Power Nation needs to hire someone who actually knows what cars are. These are not sports cars. The Mustang, the Cougar, the Challenger, the Barracuda, the Camaro, the Firebird, the Javelin, those were pony cars, not sports cars. If you're going to be an authority on automobiles, you need to know what you're writing about. These are not sports cars. As a matter of fact, if these are sports cars, then NASCAR's racing sports cars now, aren't they? Camaro and Mustangs. Now, notice in this list of states I read off, not a single state does the Camaro come up in popularity. Imagine that. I'm Hot Rod Bob, and you've got Gas, a sports car edition. And why I don't like some publications and writers that have no clue about what they're talking about. I'm Hot Rod Bob. You've got Gas, the Great American Auto Scene. Since 1990, your source for information and humor. And check us out. YouTube, Apple, Sketcher, Blogger, and a whole lot of other websites that have podcasts. And right here on Facebook. Hey, if you're watching this now, make sure you follow me, like, and follow, if you would, please. I'll be appreciative of it. Take care. I'm Hot Rod Bob. Thank you, Gasaholics, for tuning in.